Hey, what's going on, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. This video is titled Dutch People Are Rude. Why I love them for it. Yeah, are we talking about rudeness or directness, right? We've had, I've seen a few videos now on kind of that direct and indirect style of communications and how the Dutch just, they want you to be direct, right? It's a form of cutting to the chase, getting to the point, which is interesting because I had a meeting yesterday at work. And it came up at one point in the meeting, like, just say what you think. Like my manager said this. They're like, just say what you think. Like, we want you to just tell us exactly what you need. Like, just don't hesitate. We can take it, right? It's kind of where they were coming from because they didn't want like any hesitation or they didn't want any opaqueness to what we were saying, right? So they just wanted things to be crystal clear, right? Devil's in the details. Let's check it out, man. Hope everyone's doing fantastic. Let's check this video. I'll commentate on it as we go.
I live with two Dutch guys, and they're really rude. Does my hair look good?
No.
No.
Really? It doesn't look good?
I mean, looks like you just got out of bed.
And no, it's not just them. Rudeness is a trait that's ingrained in...
Speaking of hair, I'm supposed to be going to get a haircut right now. Maybe in a bit.
Dutch culture.
But I didn't make any mistakes. Only you played poorly.
Hey guys, Jan Maas is not being rude. He's just being Dutch.
Don't try to argue with me on this. The Dutch are f***ing rude, and it's also my favorite thing about them. They don't think they're rude though. I think they're rude. And we're both right. Let me explain. Did you ever have that one friend who always talked back to his parents but was never punished for it? If I were to do that, I would be sent to my room immediately. I really viewed that behavior as wrong, but my friends saw no problem with it. It was just a cultural difference within our households. It's the same thing with countries. The Netherlands is just way more direct when it comes to negative feedback than us Americans.
I don't know if anybody remembers watching Seinfeld that much, but the character of Kramer, right? He famously had no filter. I'm not comparing Kramer to Dutch people, but just that kind of made me think. The scene where he said, "Oh, only you played poorly." It did remind me of Kramer, where Kramer would speak with honesty, because I think there's one episode where George or Jerry, they're dating a pretty girl, but I think she's wearing like a prosthetic nose for the scene, but she's got a large nose, and they're all discussing, chatting, having a conversation, and Kramer's like, "Well, you're stunning, you're beautiful, you just need a nose job," and it's what they were all thinking. But Kramer's the only one who had the audacity to actually say it.
That's why Dutch behavior registers as rude in my brain and not rude in theirs. The first time a Dutch person was really rude to me was when I met my friend Bart. I was telling him how I had lost a lot of muscle while I was traveling because I hadn't been to the gym in a while. And I compared myself to our friend Roger. Roger's like really jacked, really shredded. And I was like, I'm nowhere near Roger's physique. And Bart started laughing and he goes, "Yeah, no shit, dude. You're absolutely nowhere near him." And that came as a complete shock to me, but I also thought it was hilarious because back home, if I were to say that to an American friend, they would have said something like, "Oh, don't worry, bro, you'll get there soon," or "You'll gain it back soon, don't worry about it." But my Dutch friend, he just told me how it is. Yeah, obviously you're not fucking anywhere close to that physique. In the US, we sugarcoat the hell out of our negative feedback if we ever give any at all. If we're gonna give a critique to someone, we always give a compliment sandwich. We give them a couple compliments beforehand so that the critique doesn't come off as harsh. But the Dutch would probably find that behavior to be disingenuous. They'd probably see right through it, and they might even see it as deceitful.
Oh man, communication's so interesting, man. Human communication and language. Oh, it's ever interesting, isn't it? How we communicate with each other, and it's so important. And like the best communicators are ones that are able, just like he's saying, see through that disingenuous manner of approaching to give somebody a critique, like, right? That's
a Dutch person would really appreciate just truthful, honest, negative feedback, and that would be completely normal to them. The thing is, having direct people in your life is actually a blessing. For example, if I was starting to become a jerk and my behavior was starting to get bad, I think some of my American friends would just ignore and try to avoid conflict and they wouldn't say anything to me. But I think a Dutch friend would just be straight up honest with me and say, hey man, you're starting to become a jerk, you should stop that behavior right now.
This is Derek, he's from the Netherlands, and I just wanted to ask you, why are you such a rude asshole?
Well, first of all, you are an asshole for calling me like this and asking me this. I think you just should always tell the truth. Be honest with people. Doesn't matter whether it's positive or negative feedback. People will find out the truth eventually.
The thing is, when you know someone is completely direct, there's a lot of trust in that situation because you know the person is going to say exactly what they think. Yeah, it can sting when Derek tells me my hair looks bad,
Looks like you just got out of bed.
but when he actually compliments me, I know he's telling the truth, so
This is why lying is essentially useless, because the lie will eventually come out. So you're only delaying the inevitable, and you're only making things worse for yourself. Like when you, right? So yeah. And then white lies are a whole nother realm of communication, like weirdness.
there's a lot more weight to that compliment, and it means a lot more to me than from someone who isn't direct. In Erin Meyer's book, she states that a Dutchman will use the word excellent on a very rare occasion when they actually think something's excellent. In the US, people use excellent all the time for anything, even things that are kind of mediocre. So it loses its value, it loses its substance and its weight. But in the Netherlands, it really means excellent.
What have you learned about your own culture from traveling?
Well, first of all, you probably already noticed that yourself, as there are like Dutch people everywhere. Sometimes people don't like Dutch people, like the first time they meet them, but when they hang around Dutch people more, they realize how cool Dutch people are, and Dutch people always become their favorite persons.
The Dutch aren't actually trying to be rude when us Americans or other cultures get offended by what they say. They're just direct, and that's just how they are. So to them, they're being normal. I have to say, after 8 months of traveling, that the Dutch are my favorite out of all the European countries. With direct people, you never have to guess what they're thinking, if they're putting on an act, if they like you or not. It's truly very relaxing.
Again or not again?
No, that was good. I just need to tell you, thank you for being so rude, because it's made you a really good friend.
I don't like your hair right now.
All right, that was a fun little video, and he's right. Like, you know, they can see right through if you're putting on an act, and appreciate if you're just being genuine, right? That's what we want, genuineness with all of our interactions, because there's a certain degree of probably characterization, like for everybody, right? We're all to some degree putting on an act. I don't know. It's learning how to not put on an act and be in the moment and be present in situations, right? You know, I struggle with that. Everybody struggles with that, I think, right? It's like a very natural human when it comes to communication and social interaction, especially like when introverts versus extroverts. Some people are just more comfortable in social settings. Some people are less comfortable in social settings. Some people are very extroverted and very talkative. Some people are less talkative. I was always like pretty less talkative in like larger social settings, but in more intimate social settings with smaller groups, like I'll you know, you won't be able to shut me up. So it's interesting how it works. All right, let me know what you guys think down below. That was a good little video, and we'll see you soon.